Hey, 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 welcome everybody back to the show again. This is Thigh Company here. Welcome everybody to today's live stream episode on why AP high school sucks. And yeah, I'm not joking about it. It seems like it sucks, really. Uh, and we have a few different documents to help support us here too. So, for example, I myself I had taken personally three AP classes in high school. I took AP U.S. History, AP Psychology, and AP Spanish. I think it's Spanish Language or something other. Anyway, I'm glad that's over. I'm glad I don't have to go through that again. So, I know people who took like 5 AP classes. I know people who took 7. I've heard as many as 10 or 12, but I've never personally witnessed anybody with that. But anyway, for those of you who don't know what AP classes are, AP classes, or AP stands for Advanced Placement Classes. And to kind of summarize the whole thing, I guess, it's a system where high schoolers take these classes so that they can get college credit and essentially finish college faster, per se. So, yeah, basically, you take it in high school and you don't have to take it in college. And the idea behind is that, oh, you're going to save your time and you're going to save your money that you would otherwise would have had to pay as a tuition cost at whatever college or university you would have attended later on after high school. What it's supposed to be is an opportunity for students to take college level courses and or material or whatever you want to call it and be prepared for college when they after high school enter the college or university educational system. And really it's kind of become more evolved into a combination of a show off. Oh, my kid is smarter. Oh, my kid is this and that. Or this student is this and that. Haha, you're taking regular classes while I'm taking AP classes. I had a lot of that kind of nonsense going around too. For example, I remember taking, I think it was some kind of math. I don't know if it was an advanced placement or not. It was like I think it was pre-calculus was what I was taking at the time. It was my 11th grade or my junior year of high school. And I remember meeting this one kid that was like, oh, everybody took this one standardized test, which is a lie. And I scored number one in the whole state. Haha. People like to, it's not, they formalize it or they set it in a design where it's like, haha, I'm better than you suck, versus it being like, hey, I've managed to accomplish this, and, I just would like to present to you this difficult task that I have managed to accomplish, versus it being a show off type of deal. So, I've had a lot of that, and then you start seeing this division of the population versus who is, up and beyond. Like, for example, I had this one story of a girl who supposedly somehow took all AP classes and only AP classes starting from freaking late middle school or beginning of high school, finishing with all top grades and getting into Harvard. Like, I hear these like made up stories, while in my case, I was not even able to take AP classes. That was not even given to me as an option up until my junior year or 11th grade. And then once I got out of high school, I come to learn that, well, there's schools that don't even do AP classes. And it turns out they have something called, I think they call it middle college, or they call it like a halfway school, where essentially you don't even take the AP classes. They essentially, once when you graduate high school, not only do you graduate high school, and you also get a 2-year degree, a college degree, when you graduate high school at the same time. So you're basically saving the money and expenses that would have gone into going to a 2-year college or community college or whatever, or associate degree, or whatever you want to name it. And I just find that kind of baffling that you have all these different schools with their own system. Then you try putting in the standardized AP program where, it's like a show off, oh, my kid does this, or, who can one up each other. So, first thing I'm showing here are this table or compilation of what are the hardest AP classes and tests. So, and I've noticed this too, and this is kind of accurate, showing from my memory and from my experience. I can argue a little bit with this, what is the toughest and what is not. And you've got the top smartest of the smart kids taking these classes, and only these classes. So yeah, so advanced placement courses, college level classes you can take in high school. These courses can prepare you for. So here's the argument. Oh, this is something that it's supposed to prepare you, not can, for the rigors of college. See, it's not supposed to challenge you for the rigors or being. So this is another way of saying of how tough college is. That's, I hate this description or definition that they give here. It can strengthen your college application. I don't know about that. It's like if they look at your, what do you call it, your transcript, maybe there's some kind of preference. I don't know. I've never met college or university to have preference if someone's taken an AP class versus someone who has not. If that to me seems like a bias of some sort. And then your boost your GPA aspect. Like for me, in my case, in my school, when I was in high school, if you were taking standard classes, typically most schools operate a 4-point GPA system. Like if you have a 4.0 or 4.0, they always say 4.0. 4.0 GPA, meaning that you have all A's. But, if you're taking honors classes, you basically can get a 5 instead of a 4. And then if you're taking AP classes, you can get a 6 instead of a 4. And then, then you get this convoluted system of, oh, I got a 6.0 GPA, and, college is looking at you like, how do you have a above the max GPA? And then you got, well, it's weighted. I mean, I understand why they do that, but it's like, if I look at you, in my mind, I mean, why look at the weighted versus unweighted? I mean, you can look at that, but the unweighted to me seems to be more applicable. It shows more of how you perform regardless of what the task is. And this shouldn't really. I don't like this idea of one class having 3 different levels of difficulty: easy, medium, and hard. That to me does just seems weird to me. It shouldn't be a difficulty thing. It should be focused on, hey, let me teach you this information. And then again, it talks about the argument AP classes may also help you save time and money in college. So that's basically the time and money for the tuition stuff. Schools administer AP exams following the completion of the course. If you score 3 or higher, you may, so that's not a given, it's you may earn college credit. So it depends on the school too. Certain schools want you to have certain scores. So, like, if you're trying to go to Harvard, you probably got to get a perfect score, which is, what is that, a 5? Yeah, a 5 here. If you score 3 or higher, you may earn college credit and skip the associated general education classes. So, for those of you who don't know, and I had to go through this 3 times because I went to 2 different community colleges for 2 different degrees, and then university, and then actually, yeah, at probably even more than 3 times now that I think about it. Like for example, U.S. history. I took AP U.S. history. Then the first community college I went to had me take it again, regardless that I've taken the AP exam. Then the second one had me take it the third time, and then university had it to require for me to take it a fourth time. So, what's the point of, of this AP thing if you're going to have me take the same freaking course 4 times in a row? That's nonsense because, some colleges, they do that because they want, oh, we have our own version of this class, some kind of excuse, right? And, people argue that, oh, this is because they want to make that extra money. Or we have our own standard of what we want for you to know. That kind of argument. And there's not much you can do to it, unfortunately. So AP exam rates and the frequency of perfect scores can help you gauge the hardest AP class. So basically, it's a statistical thing here. Basically, the lower the percent, the harder it is. The pass rate demonstrates the percentage of the students who receive a passing score 3 or higher, while perfect score rates reflects percentage of students who receive a 5. Right, so basically, these percentages don't look good. And then, here you go. Pass rates are one indicator you can use to look at the difficulty. Yep, okay. Teachers also play a role in how students perform in AP classes and on AP exams. This is a very big factor. Depending on who your teacher is, I find this to be a major factor on how well you learn information and how well you perform on the exam. For example, I know 2 different teachers. One teacher will give, let's use the U.S. history exam. When I was in high school, we only had 2 AP U.S. history teachers. And what we end up finding is that there was one teacher who was teaching the smart kids who were basically getting the AP class stuff just to get the 5 and not learn the information. And then you had the other teacher who was actually legitimately trying to teach the information, but I don't know about the exam performance part. So you got 2 different issues. You got kids who want the actual the freaking 5s, and then the kids who want to learn information and enjoy the class. And so what ends up happening? You get the smart teacher, or I should say the teacher for the smart kids, rather, freaking giving non-stop piles and piles of work and his essays and exams and grading extremely harshly on as much as he can be harshly on everything, and basically creating hell for the students. While other teacher, gives a lot of work, but doesn't grade as harshly. And when she grades, she gives extra wiggle room and extra time to complete assignments, and it's not as there's more leniency. So so that's another big factor. And then like for I know AP chemistry, like my friends took. I didn't take AP chemistry. That was too difficult for me. Um, we had one teacher who taught AP chemistry for what 40, 50 years or something crazy like that. And then this other kid or other teacher who brand spanking new out of university of whatever, who's just like, oh, haha, I'm this crazy teacher. I'm a and they don't make they were basically competing teachers who can get the higher scores and results versus it being who can teach the material better. That's why a lot of students didn't want to take certain classes too. And there's a huge list of all kinds of AP classes you can take. So, let me show you. This is not the complete list, by the way. This is just this. Whoever took this who made this survey. This is what they got. So, world history. Yeah, world history was like an average. English literature was a difficult. Statistics difficult. European history average like mid high. Human geography typically was associated as the easiest AP, from what I've heard. But we didn't have a teacher. We just everybody who took human AP human geography took it online. These stats tell me that it's not as easy as it sounds. U.S. history is a tough class. U.S. government and politics is a tough class. This is an insanely difficult class. You gotta basically be a chemistry wizard already prior to even beginning the class. Environmental science is a tough class. I don't know if it's this tough. And then physics is like insane. You gotta be the top 0.1% in physics. You basically already got to be qualified as a physics graduate in order to take that class. Yeah, so that was pretty bad. And then we only had one physics one teacher, but you got multiple physics classes. They divided up to like multiple parts. When I was in high school, I think there were two, but now it's like over two. It's like freaking 5 or 6 different ones. Let's see. Yeah, physics. You gotta learn. So you gotta already know algebra. If you're freaking taking beginner's algebra, what's 2x plus 1 equals 3, you're not gonna pass that class. Because I took algebra and then I took what is that? How many times I took algebra? I took algebra 3, 4. Well, first year like algebra 1 in middle school, 8th grade, and then I took algebra slash pre-calculus slash the geometry slash high school whatever math 1 slash advanced whatever. Pretty much 8th grade through 11th grade, my last year of high school, I didn't take any math. And then in university college, I had to take like, what, 10, 12 different math classes? So, that also is another thing. Why take AP this and that if you're going to have to take freaking 10, 12 math, statistics, analytics, this and that, whatever name they can come up with. Chemistry. This is just a vague thing, and the sad part about it is that AP Chemistry requires a solid foundation in chemistry and algebra. So basically, you got to be a chemistry wizard. But when you graduate this, if you get like a 3, for example, and your university takes it, it's only going to be the like beginner's chemistry that it will maybe qualify for, even though this is way beyond beginner's chemistry. They'll still make you take additional chemistry classes on top of that. So I find that weird. U.S. government politics. There's so many different politics and of this country, that territory, this and that, that legal thing, you know, historical this and that. So I don't know what this will maybe cover maybe one course in like qualify for one course. U.S. history is like a gen ed class in college, but basically, I took it online and it was easy in college, but it was really difficult in high school. Never took human geography. European history is basically, if you want to do specifically European history, but I pretty much get that when I took world history. Statistics, you gotta take like freaking 5 or 6 different statistics, almost regardless of whatever major you go into. English literature, I did not have to take literature. There was writing courses I had to take in college, but it never covered any sort of literature. Um, and I think I took English literature, not AP, but I took like high school level English literature. And when I say English, I'm talking about British. I know this is referring to generalized stuff, maybe American, if anything. Um, but it would not like grade you on how well you can freaking read and remember and recite everything from a book, like whatever this is. And I know our English teachers, our English AP English literature teachers in high school were maniacs. World history is basically if you want to know and learn about everything. And what's interesting, Recently, the College Board decided to cut out thousands of years of material to create a new AP World History modern class. See, now they're trying to divide up to get more specific stuff, which is sounds nice to me, but how's the colleges or universities, how are they going to compensate you for taking that very specific course? Like that's see, there's some kind of miscommunication in like what will count for what course. And then there's also like very specific AP classes that people can take, and what a lot of people seem to fail in realizing is that certain AP classes will qualify for general education, and pretty much every single college or university out there will force the students to take their own version of that, whatever that university or college considers to be their general education curriculum. And therefore, it's like you got to know what specific courses, you got to have like a battle plan ahead of time. Which, when I was taking AP classes, I didn't know anything. I didn't have no plan, I didn't have anything at all. Like, look at this. Now they have calculus A, B, B, C, C, D, E, F, G, and all that. But in college, they have their own system. They have calculus 1, 2, 3, calculus specifics or specialties of this kind or that kind. It's like it also is dependent on what your plan is after college. Like, you basically should be going into this AP courses knowing ahead of time what you're going to be doing with it, which unfortunately, when I was taking it, I didn't know. That wasn't even discussed to me or brought up by anybody. Hardest AP, yeah, physics. I mean, like a lot of the stuff. If you want to get a 5, I mean, like literally, some people I know who get 5s are people who've been taking that specific material for years on end, versus it being, someone like me who just comes into it the first time learning about something. So, yeah, and then this like earning a 4 denotes very well qualified. I mean, that's generalized. It's dependent on the school, and then still on top of that, like some schools will even still test you again. And look at this. See, this is what I'm talking about. While a 3 on an AP exam is a passing grade and denotes that a student is qualified in the subject, some colleges only award credit for a 4 or 5, meaning that you could very well need a 5. Additionally, keep in mind that a few colleges do not award any credit for AP exams, no matter the score, which is what my case was in almost, yeah, in every single college I went to in university, including state universities and all kinds of stuff. So, keep that in mind as well. Oh man, so you got to have a plan ahead of time. Like, for example, there's also certain classes I've noticed they don't have AP for. For example, I went for business. Specifically, business they don't have, as far as I know. I mean, they do have like your economics, but when I took economics, I took micro and macro, and then environmental economics, and then business economics, and a bunch of other stuff on top of that. This covers way more than what they covered in university. So it's like they try to extra prepare you for stuff that may not even end up applying to you. So let me look at some more statistics here. See, I think it's more I think what comes to my mind is that you should, I think, focus more on getting the good grades versus getting some scores. That's what I'm kind of initially thinking. But then you have people, here's like exams where people have scored really high on, right? See, again, physics being the hardest of them all. World history, U.S. history is up there. Calculus is up there. Politics, all that's crazy. But then you got like classes that are only being taken by certain people. Chinese language, you got freaking Chinese natives probably taking that. Artists are taking this. Don't know what seminar is. Chinese natives. Don't know what this is. Hispanics are probably taking that. Calculus, I don't know. Almost certain this is all Japanese people. All Italians. Art kids as well. Okay, now this is more of your average stuff now. Italians, probably people have been taking Latin and Italian for years. Like, the people I know are people who, from kindergarten up to through high school, have been taking the same French classes over and over and over for, what is that, like, freaking 10, 12 years, maybe even more. So you basically by heart should know the language. Another Chinese thing, computer science principles. Your dad's a freaking computer science whiz or IT specialist. German, same thing. Spanish. Okay, Spanish literature are your Spanish kids, Spanish natives, I should say, who can basically do English literature. Music theory should be. I'm surprised that's not lower. Music theory is usually way tougher than that. Biology is all your medical doctors and nurses. Business, anything that deals with statistics, so your business, psychology, statisticians. That's basically almost everybody. English language, I don't know about that. German language is people have been taking German. Latin are your medical kid people or church religious stuff. Art history are your museum people who want to be museum workers or researchers. Japanese people. And now you're more your psychology, medical psych people. Chemistry wizards, another business stuff. I don't know why this is so low. This should be higher. And then all your like specialty stuff here. Like your people want to be that physics engineer for whoever, the government or that energy company or whatever. So those are your kind of like generalized stuff for experience of I know and what friends have told me in the past. So which AP classes should you take? Oh, by the way, this is what I'm talking about. You got all kinds of physics. Physics A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then their own subgroups. Mechanics, electricity, and magnetism. These are people who want to be very specific physicists or, physical engineers or, all that kind of stuff. You know, you're devoting your life to be of that study or of that industry or, something in that. Spanish literature, I know, is a very difficult class. Luckily, I did not have to be forced to take that because I failed some other Spanish. Man, it's just, crazy stuff like that. So, guys, yeah, let me know what what AP classes have you all had to take in the past? And, what would you say is a good AP class? What would you say is a bad AP class? What would you not want to, or what would you not recommend? What actually helped you? What did not help you? And, what colleges, take that class and your recommendations for new students needing to take AP classes or want to take AP classes. And, what would you change to the AP class system to, improve it? Otherwise, guys, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for subscribing. We will see you all soon. This is, I believe, part 3 of the Why High School Sucks system, or yes, Why High School Sucks series. So yeah, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and we will see you all next time.